Hello and welcome back to KNF Design. If you're new here, my name is Katie and I try to bring a wide variety of different craft projects to you. If you ever have a craft project you would like me to show you how to make or just want to see me try to make it, let me know down below and I'll try my best to bring that to you. If you like today's craft project, make sure to hit those thumbs up. It really does mean a lot to me and it helps bring my crafting videos to more crafters like you. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you don't miss out on any of our crafting fun. So with that, let's get crafting. So today I'm going to put these two foiling tools to the test and see which one is better, or just how to use them in case you have one versus the other. This is the Cricut brand foil kit and it does come with the house, and there's actually 3 different size tips, a thin, a medium, and a thick. And it's actually nice here, you'll be able to see it better. You can tell this has 3 lines, so that's the thick tip, 2 is the medium, and then the small thin one has only 1. And here's what it looks like. So you can see 3 lines, 2 lines, and just the 1. So this one here is a medium, so I'm going to use our medium tip here as well. All you have to do is press the little button in the back, drop your tip in, and it's in. And then to take it out, press the button, and you just pour it. So that's the one we're going to be using today for this one. And what comes with this, besides the tool itself, is some foil. I have some gold and silver foil, and then some tape. I've used it a few times before. The tape you can reuse a couple of times, that's why we stuck it here. I also have some extra tape in here, and that's where the tools went. So that comes here, and actually now more than just the Cricut Maker can use these. So they also have one specifically for the Joy. It'll say Joy here. It's going to be a little different size of tool. So just make sure you get the one for your machine. So this is for the Maker and for the Explorer. And yeah. Now, this is called the Foil Quill. It is not a Cricut branded one. So Cricut says if you use non-Cricut items in your Cricut machine, then that voids your warranty. If your machine is more than 1 year old, then it's already out of warranty. So just be aware that if you use something like this that's not Cricut branded. But it works fine in the Cricut and other machines as well. Here it is. Okay, so it works with Cricut, Silhouette, Brother, and Scissor. So again, this is just the standard tip. There is a fine tip and a board tip as well that you could buy. I just got the medium one. So this is what this one looks like. And you will need to plug it in, which means you'll need some type of a brick to plug it in or a USB end. So I guess I should mention the reason why this one needs to be plugged in is because it will heat up and will actually use heat to get the foil to transfer to whatever you're using. In my case, I'll show you with Cardstock today. The Cricut one, it uses pressure to press that foil into your cardstock. So here's what this one looks like. And this here is not quite thick enough to go into your Cricut machine. So you need an adapter. because it comes with all the different, it can go into different machines. They give you all kinds of ones. Don't get confused. C, kind of think C for Cricut. We need the C. And so we'll just put that in, twist it, and now it's thick enough, and it'll go into clamp A of your Cricut machine. And these, if you have the other machine, you can use them. If you don't have those other machines, you don't need them. Now this tool here, it's a little piece of metal. Because this will be getting hot in your machine, they give you a little metal piece to kind of sit underneath it. I'll show you that as well, just so you don't get the plastic of your machine hot. So I will show you that as well. Another thing to note, there is 2 different versions of this foil quill. This one that goes in your machine, and these ones. If you notice, it kind of looks like you're supposed to hold it like a pencil. This is called their freestyle ones. You have the thin, the medium, and the thick. And you freestyle. You use it like a pen and you draw on your foil. Again, it does heat up as well, just like this one. But you use your hand. This one you use a machine. So just be careful depending which one you want, which one you end up getting. There's all kinds of tricks on ways you could use this one as well. Some people use it with stencils and things like that as well. But we will not be doing that one today. So with this one, the foil kind of looks like this. I'm going to use the gold and silver because that's what colors I have here in my Cricut one, and we'll just use them the same so you can compare same colors to same colors. You might even see it in like this little packet here in small sheets. So different types of foils that you can use with this as well. So now that we know what's inside, let's see what else we might need today. So I mentioned we're going to use cardstock to do these. I'm going to make some birthday cards with some foil. So I like the Recollection brand a lot. You can find it on Amazon and Michael's. And I think this dark blue one's going to be really pretty with our gold and silver. So we need cardstock. You'll need your fine point blade to cut out the cardstock, or you could cut it by hand. And I'll also use my Cricut tool to do the crease down the middle of our card so we can fold it. And then obviously your Cricut machine and a mat. Now you can use the light blue grip mat that you normally use with cardstock and put it on here and do it that way. I also have the Foil Quill. This is metal, and you put it directly on your mat, which is why I'm using a green one, so it'll stick a little bit better. And this one comes with magnets, and with these foil sheets here. These ones are used ones, but I just want to show you. So Cricut gives you the tape, and you're supposed to try to tape it down onto your mat, kind of like this. And then you have to really get it nice and smooth and tape it, and you tape all your corners down. And if there's a wrinkle in it, you get a lot of tailing, things like that. So you've got to be careful with that. And then sometimes if you accidentally put this anywhere where the sticky part of your mat is, it will transfer to that. I have ruined a mat because I accidentally stuck my foil directly onto the sticky part of my mat. I thought my cover was still on it, and it was not when I set it down to do something else. And all that foil, actually it's that was the sheet here, and that's why it looks like that. So I probably need to throw that one out anyway. So it ruined the foil and the mat. I still use the mat, but it's not as good. Now this one, since it's magnetic, you take your magnetic strips and I'll show you, but you press and to smooth out your foil, which will make it a little bit nicer, and you don't have to worry about it sticking to your mat because this is magnet, so you can put it directly on it, but we'll be putting it on the cardstock. So I'll show you that method as well in case you're interested in doing this one. So here in Cricut Design Space, I just wanted to show you how to set up the cards for the foil, what we're going to be doing here. So this one here, I tried to do them the same so that way it's an easier comparison. We'll do, again, the gold for the flowers and the silver for the happy birthday. This one will have the gold flowers, and then I just have it this wine color just to differentiate the two, but it'll also be the silver. And I also did, zoom in so you can see it, the flowers are just an outline, and then I did a hatch fill to fill in the letters and the lines, just so we can see different techniques. So hatch fill, it's literally going to do little lines to help fill in that so it looks full. All right, there we go. So for this one over here, this is going to be the Cricut one. And for Cricut Foil Quill, for the Cricut Foil Tool, you want to go down here under Operations and do Foil. And we're going to do the medium. That way it's the same because I have the medium of the Foil Quill. And then we also did the same thing for the lines and the happy birthday. They're both the medium foil. And then for the Foil Quill tool, we actually want to do under Operations Pen. So the Foil Quill tool will actually go in the pen slot, and so we are going to use it as a pen. You do not want to do the foil because the foil one, as you remember, the Cricut one does it by pressure. That's how it presses it in. But for the Foil Quill, it's doing it by heat. So we don't want to go that hard into it. So into the cardstock or whatever you're using. So we will just be using the pen operation for the Foil Quill. Again, that's both for the flowers as well as a happy birthday and the lines. So it's the only thing you really have to remember here. I also, since I'm using that metal mat to put my designs on, I don't actually want to cut my card on the metal. Using a blade on metal is not the best for the blade. So I'm actually going to cut the card and score it and then put that cutout card onto my metal. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go over here, hide my flowers, and then we will hide the lines and hide my happy birthday, cut it out, do my score line. I'm going to do it for both cards. Then once I have my card all cut out to size, ready to go, I'm going to come back into Cricut Design Space here, and I'm going to unhide everything. But then I'm going to take it one step further. Since it already have the score line, you won't need the score line. And
because we don't actually want it to cut the code out when we're done. It'll already be cut out. I'm going to change it to a score line. Now, just have it change so it'll look dotted like that. It'll do this operation at the beginning. You'll just change it to the scoring stylist, which goes in the pin slot, but we're actually not going to put anything in the pin slot. It'll just do the motion like it's scoring the outline of the code, but it won't apply anything to it. So that's why we're selecting that. If you selected grid, it just shows the line here, but not when we go to make it. I like having this as the score line because when we go over to make it, you'll see that line. You could also do the pin, but I thought that might get a little confusing with this one being a pin operation. I didn't want to get anything mixed up, so we'll just do it as a score line. So actually, I'll just do this just to show you. So as you can see, you have that score line there, and so then we know where to position it. I think I might do the 2 and the 10. And that way it's away from all the edges, so we don't have to worry about the foil or magnets getting stuck anywhere. So that's why I just moved it off to the side a little bit. And with that score line there, you can see where it's going to go. For our other one, it won't matter because we're just cutting out a code. So that's how it'll look first. And then our second one, we'll set it up like that. For the settings, I'm just using the medium cardstock setting, normal pressure.
If your cardstock has a bumpy side and a smooth side, it tends to work better on the smoother side, but this one is smooth on both ends. Alright, so we have a Cricut mat here, and we want to place the metal one directly on top of it, and it's actually kind of nice because it has the numbers, and they're just going to line up nice and even with the Cricut numbers, which is nice so you know where to place your cardstock and stuff. So then I'm just going to take my cardstock, and we set it the 2 and the 10 is where we're going to set it. Now, this is magnet, so it's not going to stick to it. So that is when we're going to use our magnets. But first, let's put our foil down. So my Cricut machine told me the gold is going to be the first one that we use. So then I'm going to use my big magnets first. Just put it in the middle and then slide it down. And slide it, and that just helps get this nice and smooth, no wrinkles in it. Just be careful because this Cricut foil does work based on pressure. So if you put too much pressure or work it with like the corner, it will work on your card. Now, these two here, the small ones, they're just a little big to go over. I think I'm just still going to put them but overlap, but we want them at the bottom. We don't want them at the top because that's where the machine's going to go over. So just press it down, slide it to the bottom, and I think my nail just did a nice line across there, so that was my bad there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now we're ready to load this into our machine. Okay, so we just need to insert a medium-size foil tool here. So we'll put that in clamp A. So take out the fine point blade and put in the foil tool. And we want to make sure our star wheels are off to the side so they don't run over our foil or the magnets. Now, just make sure that nothing is your material here, like this is just cardstock, so we're fine, but it's not over the 1mm thickness, so that way it can go underneath our wheel here. And everything else looks good to go. So if you notice, if I just let the machine kind of hang, this kind of pulls up and then this metal is not nice and flat. So I like to just put my hand kind of underneath it a little bit to keep it straight as it feeds in. It's going to be doing the scoring first, but we just did not put the score stylus in. So it's just going to do a quick outline like it's scoring the card itself here, and then it'll go with the foiling. So the magnets actually ended up not holding this foil just because the Cricut Foil Tool presses down and pulls it so much. So I actually ended up putting some tape down, so we'll see how this turned out. But I think I would recommend, if you're using the Cricut tool, to use the tape that it's provided over this magnet. But it still turned out beautifully. It's so pretty. So for the silver, I'm going to just use the good old-fashioned tape. I think since I'm doing tape, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and just be really careful to put the card in the exact same position. So it was at the 2 and the 10. Already touched it a little bit there, so that's why I don't like using it directly on the mat. I'm just going to cut this extra off. It's nice and taut, and we'll just hit go. So it was working out beautifully, nice and smooth, and then when I was in the middle of doing the happy, my computer did an update and completely shut down, which turned off the Cricut machine. So we're gonna try this again. I hid this time the flower, so it won't do the flowers all over again, and we're just gonna go back over the silver pieces. It will probably be off just a little bit, but we'll see how that looks. Also note here in particular, my tape covers the where it went over, so that might not show up as well there. I'll probably lose a little bit here as well with the tape on my edges. So I just recommend don't doing a design that's quite so close to those edges so they don't get covered by your tape. It just caught a little bit on this one side, and you gotta watch that here the tape was covering where it went over, so we'll see how well it transferred in that spot. I still did a nice job there. I think that turned out well, just that little spot there. And you can't reuse this. You might be able to try this little spot, but it'd be very difficult to try to position it. That's the only bad thing about these, is it's kind of a one and done, but I really like how that turned out. It is a little finicky, and I do have a little bit of double lining here and here because my computer stopped in the middle. But besides that, I think it turned out really pretty, and it just adds a nice effect. So let's see how the foil quill is, because it is a little finicky, a little bit of a pain to do sometimes, but the results are very pretty. So let's switch tools and see how that one goes. Okay, I went ahead and set up my mat just like we did that last time, but since this is for the foil quill, it should be better. I just need to switch my tools. So again, we put in the adapter that has the C on it for Cricut, and it'll go in the pin slot here. Now that we also need to take out this piece here. And it'll just fall out. You do have to pull a little bit, and we'll just put that aside for now. And then we can drop this in. Now we also want to remove anything that might be in slot B. Even if you have your fine point tip here, just take it out. And then we'll take our metal piece and just slide it underneath for right now, because again, this is going to be getting hot. We don't want it to get the plastic of the machine hot. And I'm going to plug this in. There's actually a USB port on this side of my maker, and I'm just going to plug it in there, or if you have an outlet, you can plug it in by using a brick. I'm going to let this heat up for about 5 minutes, and then we can run it. Alright, it's been the 5 minutes, so we'll remove our little protection there. Going again, don't forget to move the store wheels over. And for some reason it said do the silver first this time, so I did switch that out. So here is how our silver turned out. There's just one little blemish right there, but other than that, it's really, really pretty. To switch pins, it actually did not unload my mat enough. So I hit the unload button, and I'm gonna go back in, kind of like when this other one messed up, how I hid the flowers. This time I'm gonna hide the happy birthday, and then that way it'll do the flowers only. I could not remove my foil and put the new one in without it unloading the mat more. So if you do multiple colors, just be aware of that. And this was how it turned out. It's kind of interesting how it's kind of see-through, whereas the other foil just kind of pressed it. It didn't actually remove the foil. This one actually removes it, so kind of fun to see. Just a quick, so like I said, I had to unload this to get it out of the machine so I could put the gold foil on, take the silver off. I hid the happy birthday, so it's only showing the flowers. We do still have that score line around the edge just to help us with our placement. When I put it back in, I forgot to take this out when doing the score, and it took the corner and it bent it all up. So I redid it. It's good to go now. don't forget to take this off just for the scoring portion. So since it got caught, it kind of wrinkled up my foil here. It does smooth out pretty nicely with the magnet, so I think it'll be okay, but we'll just, in case it's not completely crisp and clean, that might be why. Now for the big reveal. I don't know how easy or difficult it is for you to see the difference. It looks like a little bit here must have hit the magnet or something that it didn't get the foil there. But then there was a little bit here and here. Again, that double is me. But they look really crisp. I think this line looks just a little bit thinner than this line. And I think this one left a little bit more of the extra glitter, but as it's been touched and stuff, it's wiped off well, where this one did not have as much of that extra glitter. But I think they both look really nice. Personally, I think I like this method better. I have to admit, taking the foil quill out of the Cricut machine and then putting in the pen tool again was just a little difficult, but it wasn't too bad. I think once you kind of get the hang of it too, you just kind of slide it in and you feel the little notch, but you kind of have to hold it as you close it, which also is a little ooze because you do have to put some pressure on it to open it wide enough to do that. But I think I would still rather do that than the Cricut foil. Yes, there's the whole heating mechanism and things like that, but this one, it does, I always am afraid to use the Cricut one because it does, if you don't get it on just right, it does tend to mess up, and I've messed up a few of them. Just the paper catches and it wrinkles. You got to get that tape on there enough, but it's putting so much pressure that sometimes if you don't tape it enough, it'll pour it out from underneath the tape. So I think so far I've had more luck with this one. This one did turn out really nice. It's kind of up to you what you think. I think both methods turn out well. Me personally, I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards liking this one, but you might like this one better. Maybe you have a lot of really good luck with the Cricut, but I think either one would be great to use. So you'll have to let me know down below which method you like and if you've tried both of them. But the foil, I mean, the camera doesn't quite do them justice. The foiling is just really gorgeous on cards. Again, I went a little extra doing the 2 colors of foil, which had a few little hiccups in those doing that technique. So if you're new to this, just stick to one foil and don't get so close to your edges. I like to make things difficult, and I really wanted to try both the hatch fill and the outline just to compare them, and so I think this was a great comparing task, and they both did very well. I hope you enjoyed this and will try foiling in the future no matter which method you try. Thanks for crafting with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.